man. Same soup, cooking it over. Telling y'all about when the money go from sugar to all type of things. Listen.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And this video is Fuck I'm 40 and I have mommy issues. So first, just like with my friend video, I'm going to start off with a disclosure or disclaimer, whatever. Disclaimer. I believe my mother is subscribed to my channel, but maybe not. She may just watch my videos. But I think she is subscribed, so she'll probably see this. Either way, whether one way or another, she'll probably see this. So nobody has to run and go tell, oh, Stevon said. She'll probably see it. That's one. Two, now whether or not she chooses to agree with what I say, that's her issue. That's not mine. I'm telling my story, how I felt and what I experienced. And three, my mother is my mother because she gave birth to me. But my mom was my nana. So when my nana died, my mom died. Okay, so this stuff I don't remember. So I'm just going to tell you what was told to me by my grandmother. Some of the things my mom confirmed. Some of them she said my nana was making it up or whatever the case may be. But number one, I am my mother's firstborn. I am my father's fourthborn. He has 3 other children that are older than me with somebody else. My mom and dad got married. My mom and dad have known each other since they were babies. I think since they were like, my mom was maybe, she was in a stroller, and my dad was 2 or 3. I think 2. And then they ended up being high school sweethearts and dating for a little bit. And then they eventually started dating again. And after school, eventually they started dating again. And they got married 2 months after I was born. I was born July 29th. 8 days to my birthday. I was born to my 40th birthday. I was born in July. My mother and father got married around the same time, around my mom's birthday, which is in September. And then my baby brother, then they had me, and then they also had my baby brother. So my mom and dad were married for 13 years. They were married on paper. I put it that way. For 13 years. So with my mom, from my nana's perspective, I've never liked my mom. Or I won't say I never liked my mom. My mother and I never got along from when I was a baby. We didn't get along. I was allergic to, and this is something that ended up carrying on into my kids, Jesus Christ. I was allergic to the milk or the formula they were giving me. And I would scream and scream and scream and scream and scream. And knowing what I know now, I would say my mom was probably going through postpartum depression, but I don't know. Other things. My mother was a heroin addict. She became a heroin addict, according to my nana, my nana is my mom's mom. According to my nana, my mom started smoking heroin. My mom started shooting heroin, when she was about 13 or 14 years old. Because of this lady that was in the neighborhood. She got a lot of the kids that were in the neighborhood hooked on heroin. She was a queen pin. She, to my knowledge, she never did drugs when she was pregnant with myself or with my brother. But before, in between, and after, she was a dope fiend. All right. So I believe, like I said, that it was postpartum depression, knowing what I know now and having had my own children of my own. But the formula that I was on, I was allergic to it. I was screaming. So one day my mom was in the house with me by herself, and I wouldn't stop screaming. She put a pillow over my face. And luckily, my nana came home from work, and before I suffocated. Okay? So if that's any indication of how the rest of this video is going to go, there you go. My mother put a pillow over my face when I was a baby. Okay? All right. So, my father was in the Army. My father did almost 30 years in the military. We went to Germany when I was little. I was probably, I don't even think I was 1 yet, or I may have just been, I had to have been 1 because I was talking. But I know that I was so young because when I went over there, I was just learning to talk, because when I came back to the States, we were there for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. But when I came back to the States, I couldn't speak any English. So fun fact about me, when I first learned how to talk, I learned a little bit of English, but when I was really in the formative years of me learning how to speak, I could only speak German because we were stationed in Germany with my father. I know that I could say a few things because everybody, to my mom, my dad, my nana, everybody tell the same story. When I got to Germany, I was fine. Like the whole plane ride over there, getting settled into the quarters and the military quarters and stuff like that, I was fine. And then after I had my bath, where's my nana? And I screamed and screamed and screamed because my nana wasn't there. At any rate, we were stationed with my father when we were in Germany, and I had a fit. I wanted my nana. While we were in Germany, somehow I got burned on the entire lower half of my body from scalding hot water. Now, there's 2 versions of this story. I'm sorry, 3. My father has no idea what happened because he was at work. My mother says I was reaching for a banana. She had to boil hot water. We didn't have hot water for some reason. I don't know why. This was in like 83, 84, something like that. I was little. For whatever reason, we didn't have hot water. She was boiling hot water. I don't know what that was about. But at any rate, she said I was reaching for a banana, and I stepped in a bucket of hot water, and it splashed onto me. It tipped and splashed onto me. The problem with that is the bottom of my feet, of neither foot, was burned. I only have 1 foot, and it's the top of my foot. And remember she said I stepped in the water, so my whole foot, the bottom half and the complete top, would have been, it's only half of one of my feet that was burned. Down the sides of both my legs and across my entire back. My back is the worst. My legs, you can kind of get away. Unless I point it out to you, you won't notice it. My feet the same way. I'm lucky. That's a good thing I actually got from my mom. My mother has beautiful feet, and I got beautiful feet. So unless I point it out to you, you won't notice it. The only place that it is evident is across my lower back. So the area where most people get what they call a tramp stamp. Well, I have a burn scar, except mine is literally from the whole back, whole entire back, right? But she says I stepped in the water and it splashed onto me. Okay. What my nana believes happened is she was mad with my dad, and I had did something to aggravate her, and she threw hot water on me. What the doctor said, I don't know what happened, but there's no way that child stepped in hot water. Okay. So there's that. Let's see. So let's fast forward. We come back home. My father, this is what my father did. When my mother and father were married for quite some time. Like I said, for 13 years. And we would go overseas with my dad a lot. Different countries. Iceland or Greenland. I think it was Greenland. Yeah, I think it was Greenland, Germany, Mexico, China, bunch of different places. A bunch of different places my father was stationed at. We went with him. But my mom, like I said, was a dope fiend. And when my dad got tired of dealing with my mom and her foolishness, he shipped us back to my nana. So we come back from Germany, and my father did some really dirty, low down, disgusting stuff to my mother. Just awful and just hateful. Real bastard-like, I'm going to be honest with you. My father, just real bastard-like. And at this time, my mother was still his wife. Okay? Well, unfortunately, the way my mom responded to her and my father getting into it is beating me. And this is the first story that she would tell you. I don't know what you're talking about. I never did that. My grandmother is no longer here, obviously, and my great-grandmother, my mom's grandmother, is no longer here. But they both told the same story. A couple times, my mom took me in the basement. She would beat the hell out of me. One time, she tied me to the pole and beat me. And had my nana had to come in and tell her, if you beat this child, if I catch you one more time beating this child like this, I'm going to have you locked up. But if you ask my mother, she'll tell you, oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That never, ever happened. Okay. Cool. So that was after Germany. So I was probably, that was after I got burned. I won't blame anybody. I'll just say I was burned with hot water. That's a fact. Now, whether she did it on purpose or it was an accident, we don't know. The fact is I was burned. Okay? So after Germany, after me getting burned, like I said, my dad did some real foul stuff to my mother. It was enough to drive anybody crazy. But as a result of her going crazy, I got abused. So we ended up going to she ended up having my brother. And my brother was he wasn't even 1 yet. My brother was still a baby. And I was 4. We moved to Texas. My dad got stationed in El Paso, Texas. And maybe he might have been 1, actually. He might have just still been in diapers, though. He might have been 1. Yeah. I think, yeah, he was 1. So we're in Texas. I think Texas was probably most of our happiest time. My mom was still dabbling in drugs, but for the most part, besides that, we were pretty happy. My father had a little bit of a difficult time because my mom would go off for days on her binges, and that's how my dad ended up learning how to do ponytails, or whatever you want to call it, because I had to go to school. And I learned how to make bottles, change diapers. There's 4 years between me and my baby brother. So I was 5, 6 years old changing diapers. So when you hear me say that my baby brother is my baby, he really was. My great grandmother, my nana's mom, my mom's grandma, got really sick with cancer, and they had to put her in a nursing home. So I was 7, and that's when we came on back home. We were in Texas. We came back to Jersey because my grandma, my great grandma, was sick. Or you'll hear me call her my grandma Morty, because that's what I called her, my grandma Morty. So when we came back, I was 7. My brother was 3. We were home maybe 6 months. I don't even think it was 6 months. We were home a couple of months. My grandma Morty passed away. Now, as far as I know, the entire time that my grandma Morty was still living and she was in the nursing home and hospice, my nana would have to go up there and take care of her and things of that nature. But I don't believe my mom was messing with drugs, because she wasn't as close to her grandmother as I was to mine, but she was really close to her grandma. So I don't think she was doing drugs during that time. But afterwards, once my grandma Morty died, it was bad. It was really, really bad. My great grandma died. My grandma Morty, she passed away. My mom went ape shit crazy. Now, during this period of time, the abuse towards me wasn't as bad. It was actually really kind of non-existent. But I think that a lot of that came from the fact that I was the one who was taking care of my brother. Because at the time, my nana was still working. And her and my papa had got a divorce, but she had like a little boyfriend or whatever the case may be. And we were still living in the house that her and my papa had bought. And my mom, like I said, she was just going crazy. So she was in and out of, with her drug binges. She literally used to leave us sitting in the car, because my father did always make sure my mom had a brand new car, and of course she got an allotment. Even though they were still married, he made sure that she got an allotment and things of that nature. So she would, like, when she would go off on her binges, she would take me with her sometimes, well, take us with her sometimes, and it's me and my brother sitting in the back seat of the car in an alleyway. And I'm like, giving him his bottles or a cup, and, just like, okay, we're going to be all right. Let's just go to sleep until she come back. She was off doing her drug bid. And that was just because my nana would try to, I think that was because my nana would try to force her to take us with her so that she wouldn't do drugs, not realizing that didn't stop my mom. She was still doing that. It's times I've seen needles falling out of her pocketbook and everything. My grandma Morty died, and the house actually was really messed up. It was some stuff that had went on with my nana and my papa, and the house was messed up. My grandma Morty had passed away, and my dad, and my mom and my dad was like, okay, we can fix the house, we can get the roof fixed and do this, and this. And it was so funny because my brother was probably he was like 4. No, he was 3. Yeah, because I was 7. So he was like 3. And my brother was like, because the way my nana's ceiling was messed up really bad in the kitchen. So my brother was like, this house gonna fall in on me head. But my nana didn't want to get the house fixed. Because, her mom had passed away, and there was a lot of memories in that house from her mom. She was just like, no, I don't want the house no more. So, my mom ended up getting a place in the projects. So that's when we moved from a house to the projects, and it was literally up the street from where my nana house was. So we were there not even a year, or maybe a year, And my mom met this guy that looked like Spike Lee. If you know me, you'll know who I'm talking about. I will not say his name, just because I ain't gonna say it, and also, because I don't want to drag people into or embarrass people unnecessarily, or just for the hell of it, just to be mean. I'm gonna tell my story, but if you, like I said, if you know who I am, if you know me, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But my mom had a boyfriend that looked like Spike Lee. She was still married to my father. But my father was overseas. My father was in China. And it was okay at first. It wasn't any big deal. So I thought. The first real incident that I could remember. Now, he was also a recovering addict as well. I think he was a crackhead though. I don't think. See, my mom was a fancy drug addict. She was a heroin addict. And the funny shit about it is because she always kept like some type of piece of job, and she actually was a hairdresser, so she kept an amazing clientele for hair and for nails. And I mean, she was amazing at what she did. And I don't think my mom has ever weighed, okay, prior to her having me. But after my mom had me, my mama ain't never been under 200 pounds. This is the fattest junkie I ever seen in my life. Okay? So my mama was a sophisticated junkie. If I would give her that part, right? And I think this guy was a crackhead. I don't think he was as sophisticated as my mom. I think he was a crackhead. A recovering crackhead. So, first incident was, he was very abusive towards my mother. And this one night, I do not remember what happened, but myself, my baby brother, my mom, and my nana were held captive in my nana's room by this man, and by knife point. He was holding a knife to my mother's throat. And my baby brother, because now, although me and my mama didn't have a good relationship, my brother worshiped the ground my mama walked on. You talking about mama's boy to the 90 millionth power? My brother was a mama's boy from jump. My brother was probably about 6 when this happened. He was 6, maybe 7. Well, yeah. If he was 7, I was 11. So he was 6. Yeah, because I was only 10. He was 6. He jumped in front of my mom and laid across my mom to protect my mom from this man trying to kill her. Some kind of how my mom managed to get him to let us get out of the room. And me, my nana, and my brother were able to get out the room and go into what was me and my brother's bedroom and go out the fire escape window to call the cops. And of course, I'm the typical baby girl. I thought my father was Superman, so I called my dad. I had called my dad a couple of times to tell him what was going on. But this one particular time, after all that stuff happened, my mom was like, okay, I'm tired of it. My mom was like, hey, my mom actually told me to call my dad and tell him to come get him out of there. So when I called my dad, I told him, I'm like, okay, daddy. I'm like, this is really serious. I told him what happened. I told my dad what happened. I told him about, what happened with my mom and what my mom said. And my dad came home on leave by the end of the week. It was a couple days, and my daddy was home. When I called my dad and told him what happened, my daddy came home. Mr. Man was gone. Okay. Well, unfortunately, he didn't stay gone. So there were 2 other incidents, major incidents with this particular boyfriend. that were very, no, sorry, 3. So the first incident was something involving my grandmother, and I'll leave it at that. I won't even. Second thing happened was that my mother will, again, she'll deny this, and she'll say, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy, you imagined it, whatever the case may be. But my mother's tubes were tied after she had my brother. And this boyfriend of hers, at the time, he didn't have any children. And so my mom had asked me one day, would I have a baby for her? And I still remember that conversation to this day, because I didn't understand. I was confused. I'm like, how does that happen? Okay. Along with her having that conversation, or her saying that to me, asking me that, or however you want to put it, my Nana started to notice that I was always on punishment for something. I was always made to stay in the house for something. But my little brother could go outside and play. But I was always forced to stay in the house. Now, the boyfriend, I was molested when I was a child, but I actually was molested because my mom left me at one of her friend's house while she went to go get high, and this guy, one of the ladies' friends that came over, he probably had been messing with the girl daughter. I was playing with the lady daughter, and he probably had been messing with her. But then here I come, I was the new little girl on the block, and he ended up touching and fondling on me. So I was molested, but it wasn't by her boyfriend. My mom never did nothing about that either. But at any rate, because of the craziness that had went on with this man and my grandmother, my grandmom got real scared about me being left in the house with him by myself. Okay. So right after that happened, my mom got really sick, and she was in the hospital for quite some time. While she was in the hospital, I was 11. She was in the hospital, and we used to have these little parties and stuff. And so we used to all go to these little teen parties at our local YMCA. So this one particular night, I had went to one of the parties. Now, mind you, it's a teen party, so it's over by 11 o'clock. Like, it was nothing, it wasn't no big thing. And it was literally maybe 6 blocks from where I lived there. Like, it wasn't far. Like, we literally used to walk to and from. It was everybody. You know, it was a whole big crowd of people. And, it was cool, whatever. So I went to this little party. But I didn't ask, could I go? So, and like I said, my mom was in the hospital. So my mom was like, well, I'm in the hospital. Why would you want to go to a party? You don't care about me. Whatever the case may be. But she also gave permission to this boyfriend to beat me. At that point, my Nana was like, okay, you know what? No, this ain't what's finna happen. This is not what's finna happen. She threatened him. She threatened my mama. And now, what happens next is twofold. It's bad, but it's also good. It taught me to stand up for myself at a very young age. But I also shouldn't have been put in the middle of adult business. While my mother was in the hospital, because of all the other stuff that had happened, and then her now telling this man he could beat me, my Nana said, you need to call DIFUS, because your mother has lost her mom. You need to call DIFUS, and you need to get away from her. Now, I'm like, okay, to me, I'm 11. So I'm like, well, if I leave my mom, I'm going to leave you. Like, what are you talking about? I don't want to go without my Nana. My Nana's like, no, I'll make sure that you're taken care of. But I can't call. You got to call. Why the hell can't you call? You see, so that was some, I don't agree with my Nana for her doing that. But at the same time, like I said, it taught me to stand up for myself. Somebody's doing something wrong to me. You tell somebody, you get help, You know, you stand up for yourself, right? But again, I was 11. There's no way in the world I should have been the one to make that call. However, not only did I go in the phone book and find the number for DIFUS, oh yes ma'am, I did push the buttons on the phone. Hello, my mom beats me. My mom just told this man he could beat me. I was molested. My mom ain't do nothing about it. She's in the hospital right now and I'm scared. Next morning, caseworker at the door. My mother was still in the hospital. Caseworker comes to the house and they basically went to the hospital and told my mom, we are taking your kids. At that time, they took me and my brother and they gave my nana temporary custody. The apartment that we were living in, remember I said we were in the projects, the apartment that we were living in was actually in my mom's name. But because of the DIFUS situation, they also told my mom, you can't go back to that apartment. So before that happened, it started off with we had to leave. So my nana took me and my brother and we went to, I call her my aunt. Well, we all called her my aunt, but she was really my nana's best friend. So we went to my aunt's house and we stayed there for a couple, maybe 2 months. Maybe not 2 months, but maybe a little over a month, something like that. It was a couple of weeks. We stayed there until, they told my mom, you have to leave. And they allowed my grandmother to live there. And so because she had the temporary custody of me and my brother. So my mom had to leave. So when she first left, so first of all, she took everything. Everything. And a lot of the shit was from fucking Rent-A-Center any goddamn way. It ain't like it was no spectacular shit, but she just was trying to be spiteful to my nana. So my mom, she took everything that was there. And my nana had a table. Me and my nana had a table, a card table with 2 chairs. And she had her bedroom furniture because she had her bedroom furniture was super old from when she was in her house. And I had a bed. She had bought me a bed. So I had a bed. My nana had a bedroom set. And we had a card table on 2 chairs. My brother, like I said, was a mama's boy. He wanted to go with mommy. So he went with my mom. There was a whole big old mess. And, it came down to it where, like, the judge they tried to give my mom visitation rights. And I wouldn't go. Or I would go, but I wouldn't stay. And she seen that I was willing. Like, I would tell them every time we went to court so much it was ridiculous. And every time we went to court, I don't want to go with her. I want to go with my nana. I want to go with my nana. And so the more I resisted my mother, her way, she wouldn't fight. She wouldn't necessarily try to fight me, but she would fight my grandmother. She would fight my nana. And like this one time, we went to court, and my mom had visitation rights. I wouldn't go, cause this boyfriend ended up, for a little while, this boyfriend was living there with her. I don't want to be there. And I would go literally for a couple hours. All right, I'm out. I'm leaving. I don't want to be here. I would walk home. If they don't send a cab to come get me, I'll walk. I'm out of here. I did not want to be there. Point blank, period. And the judge was like, okay, well, they were going to lock my nana up. And my nana was like, listen, Steve, you got to go with her because they're going to lock me up if you don't comply with her visitation. I said, well, we both going to be in jail because I ain't going over there with her. So at that point, the judge was like, okay, clearly, we have an issue. This is not my nana trying to keep her from me, because my mom tried to make it look like my nana was trying to divide us. My mom also, she kept telling people that my nana called DIFUS. And anytime anybody asked me, my nana ain't called nobody. I called DIFUS. The funny shit was, like I said, that's when phone books That's how old I am. That's when we still got phone books. I looked up Division of Family Services in the phone book and called the number from the phone book. I called diapers on my mom. But trying to make my nana look bad, she kept saying my nana did it and, you know, whatever the case may be. So it came to the point where it was like, it was optional. If you want to go, you could go, whatever the case may be. My nana ended up getting permanent custody of me. And then custody of my brother went to my mom because my brother wanted to be with my mother. It was an ongoing thing. But I was a little kid. I was little still. I was in junior high school. So she would come by every once in a while to the apartment, you know, to see me and harass my nana. One time, my first suicide attempt came because this was before she had cleaned out the entire house. She had started taking stuff out, but she hadn't finished yet. She decided, her and my grandmother had gotten into an argument, and she decided that she was going to strangle my grandmother. And I walked in on it. And when I tell you this is how much I love my nana, I can't see myself on this earth without my nana. So when I seen her try to kill my nana, I'm like, okay, she's hurting my nana because of me. So if I'm not here, she can't hurt my nana. I took every pill I could find in that house, and I laid down. And thank God my grandmother came in, and she kept looking at me like, because I always used to fall asleep on the couch or whatever the case may be. But this particular day, when she came in, she looked and she was like, she said that I didn't look regular. I didn't look like I was just asleep. Something looked off. And thank God she called the ambulance. They got me to the hospital. They pumped my stomach. I had to drink charcoal and all this other stuff, and they put me in I was in a child mental institution for a little over a month. And even then, they tried to force visitation with my mother. No ma'am, I'll stay here for the rest of my life. I don't want to have nothing to do with her. My mother tried to have me put in a juvenile detention center because I didn't want to. Well, they called it was like a group home, not necessarily detention because that's not like jail, like kitty jail. It was more like a group home. My mother tried to have me put in a group home because I refused. I refused to be bothered. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, thank you. So finally gave up. She finally stopped. Like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, I don't care. No matter what you do, no matter where you claim you're going, anywhere is better. I'll go anywhere. I'll go to hell. I was willing to die. I was not willing to go with you. And it just is what it is. So bunch of stuff continued to happen as I entered into my teenager years, and our relationship was off and on. Sometimes I could talk to her. Sometimes we would get into these arguments where I just couldn't be bothered because she wanted to blame my grandmother for everything. She never wanted to take responsibility for what was happening, and I'm just like, this don't got nothing to do with my nana. This you. I don't like you. Leave me alone. I don't like you. I have nothing to do with my nana. And she never could understand that the more she came at my nana, the angrier it made me. She would have done better. We probably to this day would have a better relationship if she would have just either said nothing, because I know she ain't gonna take responsibility for it. But if she would have said nothing, we probably would have had a better relationship than her constantly blaming my nana and trying to bring my nana down, because that enraged me more. I hated her more and more because the way that she tried to portray my nana. Okay. So that's basically been the relationship with my mother the majority of my life. I have tried in the past, to have conversations with her, and it never goes anywhere because she doesn't want to take responsibility for the way that she treated me. She doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that, and this is the thing, I get it. I'm a mother. Kids don't come with instructions. I get that. I'm not going to say my mom had the best childhood. Now, there's some discrepancies between what my mom said and what my nana said. But I do know it wasn't as bad as what I had to go through. Okay? So, alright, cool. I've tried, to have conversations, but it never goes well. Because I'm not willing to play her game. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, you ain't do that. No, that didn't happen. No, it happened. It very much did happen. It very much happened. It's your fault. And, that's it. I'm not, that's it. And you're not going to browbeat me. You're not going to make it seem like I don't understand why you would allow your grandmother to call diapers on me. I don't know why, you didn't, you let your nana draw a wedge. First of all, my nana ain't called diapers. I ain't going to tell you no more. I did. Second of all, if it was really down to the point where my nana was trying to break us apart, when they told my nana they was going to lock her up, or they was going to lock me up in a group home. Either one of those instances, my nana would have been like, nah, you need to go ahead back. Because who wants to go to jail for some bullshit? You get what I'm saying? So it had nothing to do with my nana. Me and you, we don't get along. We just don't. It just is what it is. That's my mother. She gave birth to me. So I respect her in that capacity. But like I said, when my nana died, my mama died. My nana is my mama. It's been like that. It's always going to be like that. That's also an issue for my mother. And I get it because I'm a mom. So I understand why it's an issue. But I also need for her to understand that you did it. It's your fault. Okay?
I found love